The doctors gave her 3 months, and the sunlight pouring through the glass walls of the executive boardroom felt almost cruel as it reflected off the city skyline she had conquered. At 42, Alina Varma had everything the world said mattered: power, money, influence, but none of it could slow the quiet ticking now echoing in her chest. Every morning began with daylight meetings and ended with the same question she was too afraid to ask out loud: what does success mean when time is running out? Before we go deeper, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of humanity, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Single Dad Diaries. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Alina had built her tech empire from nothing, fueled by discipline and daylight hours that started before dawn. Her diagnosis came after she fainted during a presentation, the kind that would normally shake markets. Now she hid her fear behind tailored suits and calm emails, insisting life continue as usual. But something inside her shifted. She began noticing things she once ignored: the way sunlight painted the lobby floors in gold by mid-morning, the tired eyes of people rushing past her office, the emptiness of returning to a penthouse that echoed too loudly. Determined to leave something meaningful behind, Alina launched a company-wide initiative focused on community impact. Not press releases or headlines, just real help. One Tuesday afternoon, she visited a modest daycare center partnered with her foundation. The building was small, sunlit, and buzzing with the sounds of children playing. That was where she first noticed Arjun Malik, a man in worn sneakers and a faded jacket, carefully tying his young son's shoelaces with the focus of someone performing sacred work. Arjun was a single father who worked mornings as a delivery driver and afternoons doing maintenance jobs wherever he could find them. His son, Kian, was 5, bright-eyed, and curious about everything, especially the way the world worked. Daytime was Arjun's battlefield, juggling work, childcare, and exhaustion, but he never complained. That afternoon, he had volunteered to fix broken shelves and repaint walls at the daycare, unpaid, simply because the kids needed a safe place. Alina watched quietly as Arjun worked under the open sky, sweat on his brow, laughter in his eyes whenever Kian ran past. Something about the simplicity of that scene unsettled her. She, who owned buildings, had never known how to fix anything with her hands. She approached him later, learning his story not through dramatic confession, but through quiet facts. His wife had passed away 2 years earlier, mornings were the hardest, and daytime was when he tried to be strong for his son. As weeks passed, Alina kept returning. She found herself scheduling daytime visits to community projects instead of boardroom meetings, letting her executives handle what they could. Her health declined slowly, fatigue creeping in, but her spirit felt lighter. Arjun noticed her too, the woman who listened more than she spoke, who wore success but carried sadness. He never asked questions, only offered help where he could, fixing a loose step at her foundation office, carrying boxes, making things steady. One bright morning, Alina received confirmation that her condition was worsening faster than expected. 3 months might become 2. That day, instead of retreating to her office, she went to the daycare. She found Arjun outside, teaching Kian how to plant a small tree in the yard. The child's hands were dirty, the sun was warm, and something about that moment cracked her open. Alina began spending her daylight hours there, not as a CEO, but as a human being. She learned to water plants, to listen to children's stories, to sit on the grass without checking her phone. Arjun never treated her differently, never asked for favors. When he learned she was sick, it was through the quiet concern in her movements, the way she sometimes needed to sit down. He responded the only way he knew how, by showing up more. Without telling her, Arjun organized the community around her foundation projects. Parents, workers, volunteers, all people she had helped indirectly, came together. They cleaned parks, repaired playgrounds, painted murals, all during daylight hours so she could see it. They wanted her to know that what she built had roots, that it mattered beyond profits. One afternoon, Alina arrived to find a small ceremony waiting. Nothing formal, no speeches. Just a wall covered in handwritten notes from people whose lives had been touched by her work. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for seeing us. Thank you for giving us daylight. Her knees weakened, and she sat on a bench, tears streaming freely for the first time since her diagnosis. Arjun stood nearby, Kian holding his hand, the tree they had planted weeks ago now showing fresh green leaves. Arjun had taken unpaid time off to make sure everything was ready. He never said why. He didn't need to. His actions spoke louder than any words. In that moment, Alina realized that while she was counting months, Arjun was counting moments. He lived for the present, for daytime laughter, for small victories. She had spent her life preparing for a future she might never see, while he built meaning in every single day. As her health continued to fade, Alina made one final decision. She restructured her company so that a significant portion of its profits would permanently fund community centers, childcare for single parents, and daytime support programs. She appointed leaders who shared her vision, ensuring it would last beyond her. On her last visit to the daycare, sunlight filled the yard. Children played, the tree stood taller, and Arjun watched Kian run freely. Alina felt no fear then. Only gratitude. She had come searching for legacy and found love in its purest form, service without expectation. If the story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like, share, and engage with this video. Your support helps keep real, emotional stories alive for others who need hope. And before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Comment below with one word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. Alina Varma passed away 3 weeks later, during a quiet morning filled with sunlight. Her name faded from headlines, but her impact lived on in laughter, in playgrounds, in single parents who felt seen. And every day, when Arjun walks Kian to school under the bright sky, he remembers the woman who learned, just in time, that the greatest success is not how much time you have, but how deeply you choose to live in the daylight.